Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Mark Arcuri here at Saybrook University, Department of Mind Body Medicine, adjunct faculty. I would like to thank you for joining us this morning for a brief, but I hope meaningful, mindful moment to just kind of pause, breathe, and reconnect at the beginning of a new week in this spring season that's just begun also. As we begin this new season, I think it's good to take an opportunity just to reflect and think about the influence of the recent full moon that we've had and the beginning season, the emergence of new growth and new opportunities that we have with the springtime. And hopefully, you'll find that it's a chance to reflect and renew from within. And next slide, please. And as spring unfolds, we're surrounded by this energy of growth. And with the moon's recent fullness, many of us are feeling shifts within us too. The moon that we had just a few weeks ago was called the worm moon. And it's named the worm moon because it's the time in the season when the earthworms begin to stir in the ground and start to shed their casings as they come out of hibernation. And those casings bring to the soil the nourishment that the soil needs to support the growth of the plants and the animals and creatures that live in the soil as well. So today we're going to drop into a short meditation to honor what's rising within us and to nurture it so they can also be fertile ground for growth and just to see what might be ready to bloom within each of us. And as you'll see on the screen here, I just have a short statement that I'll be moving away from for a moment, but maybe something to ponder while we go into the meditation. Within you lies a seed of potential, waiting for the warmth of your attention to grow. And I invite you to let the moonlight, when it comes this evening, just illuminate what's ready to emerge. And as we begin to drop into that journey, I invite you just to take a few deep breaths at your comfort, just inhaling as deeply as you're able, and perhaps a bit more deeply than usual. And hold it for a moment, and then exhale. And again, inhale a little bit more deeply and perhaps slowly than usual. And exhale. And one more time. Inhale deeply and exhale as we move to the next slide. And in this moment, I invite you to either close your eyes if that's comfortable, or soften your gaze, perhaps just look at the picture on the screen without paying attention to the words. And as you do that, just imagine a peaceful garden. And imagine that in any way that you can. It might be a visual, it might be through the smell of the soil, the earth, it might be the sounds that you might hear, or the absence of sound in a peaceful garden. And just notice in any way that you can that the earth is soft. And as you experience that softness of the earth, perhaps you'll notice that your hand goes down and you find a seed. And that seed we can call your intention. And perhaps just take a moment and put some words into the seed for the intention, whatever that may be, for this moment, for the week ahead, for what might be emerging as you move into perhaps the end of a quarter or term and contemplate beginning the next, whatever that intention might be. Let's just put those words into that seed, and then you plant the seed. You gently place it in the soft earth, gently cover it, and notice that the sunlight begins to warm it. And the sunlight represents your awareness. And your awareness, the sunlight, helps it grow. And as that seed begins to grow, when you notice it sprouting, you might even hear it sprouting. It does make a sound. You begin to clear away the stones and the weeds that might be around it. And these represent your doubts or your distractions. And as you do that, you ask yourself, what within me is ready to grow? What within me is ready to grow? What can I lovingly clear to make space? What can I lovingly clear to make space? And as you contemplate those questions, remember that growth begins the moment we choose to nurture what's inside us. And that's all it takes. So, what within me is ready to grow? What can I lovingly clear? Those stones and weeds, those doubts or distractions. What can I lovingly clear to make space for what is ready within me to grow? And I invite you to let that seed sprout and rise. Feel it rooting in your body, in your spine, throughout your spine, in your breath, in your heart. Let that seed sprout and rise. And now I invite you to gently reflect a bit more on your answers to those ponderings. And perhaps ask yourself, what truth has the full moon revealed to me? And what feels illuminated now? And let's stay with this image of your seed blooming just as you are, soft, strong, and aligned. And the next slide, please. And now taking a moment of even deeper reflection, you may wish to open your eyes, jot down a few words, or simply keep your eyes closed and notice what's arising within you. And some reflection questions again, what in me is ready to grow? What can I lovingly clear to make space? What feels illuminated now that I had not seen before? And we'll pause for a moment for silent reflection or quiet journaling. And as we come back from that space, next slide, please. I invite you to just gently bring your hand to your heart and just feel your body breathing. Feel your truth. And I invite you to repeat silently or aloud, I am grounded in truth. I respond from my center. I am grounded in truth. I respond from my center. Just as the moon reflects the sun, we reflect our own inner light when we pause to listen. Just as the moon reflects the sun, we reflect our own inner light when we pause to listen. And may this practice carry you forward with gentleness and renewed clarity. Next slide, please. The seed of your true self never stops waiting for the spring of your attention. Thank you for joining us today for this moment of alignment. May you carry this inner renewal with you throughout your week. Thank you.